set? Okay, and we're live. Hello everyone, welcome to the Come Cook With Me show. My name is LauraJHall and we are at a new time. Today is Thursday and we're kind of close to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 Central Standard Time, and that's kind of the objective. That's the goal, is to be live on Thursdays from now on. So if you are brand new to the show, this is the first time you're actually watching, what I would love for you to do is say hello, who you are, where you're from, in our community, since we've been doing this show for 2 years now. That's kind of the things that we love to do, so we just really build community that way. The other thing that I'm going to ask is that if you are brand new, you know the drill. Many people love it if you give some hearts, share some love, if you want to share this show on your Facebook wall, or maybe you want to share it to a cooking place that you just like, oh my God, this is an incredible recipe. Okay, and if you are brand new, again, you'll say, well, where's the recipe and how is she going to be doing this? Well, with the way that we have this camera set up, we can't actually put the recipe in until the show is complete. So I will be posting the recipe. It'll be in the actual comment section, not the comment section, but the actual post. So you'll see the entire recipe. We have an amazing recipe. It's going to be so uber yummy, so healthy. We have a really uber healthy cauliflower mash that we're going to be making, mashed cauliflower. I couldn't decide which one to put. Is it mashed cauliflower or do we say cauliflower mash? I think I changed it back to mashed cauliflower. So we're going to do that, and we're going to be doing that in the InstantPot. In the Milky Pot, we're actually going to do the traditional, very healthy version of mashed potatoes. So over behind me, for the last couple hours, we've had the slow cooker, and this recipe is so versatile. I love it because it is just amazing. You can cook it in just any way, any method. So what I'll do is show you what they look like, what the potatoes look like now, because that's what is going to be where we end up. And then what we'll do is, once the show is completed, we'll have a lot of pictures that will show kind of the final steps, because once everything is cooked in the fast pressure cookers, there are a few steps that we'll actually have to take for each one of them to make it turn out. So hang with me. Let me go ahead and show you what the slow cooker looks like. I'll bring it over, make a smidgen more room, because that's not going to work without having a little more room. Okay. Oh my God. If we had smell-o-vision, you'd be dying right now. Okay, so for 2 hours, these babies have been cooking, and they are so ready. They are ready for the next step. So I'll talk about the last step at the end of the show, what we're actually going to do. But these are so ready to go. And they cooked for 2 hours. It just took 2 hours to cook on high. So if you don't have a slow cooker that has a high feature, you'll want to cook those on a 4-hour schedule with the slow cooker. Okay. Put that top back on. All right, so what I want to show you is how we started off with in the pot. Is we always do some roasted garlic, and I love roasted garlic because if you use fresh garlic, that's just really, it has a bite and a hotness to it. When you roast your garlic in any kind of oil, we used avocado oil. When you roast your garlic in an avocado oil, it just creates such a beautiful, well, not just a great aroma, but you actually have a real smooth, delicate, just gives such a deep, rich layering of flavor. So I use garlic almost in every recipe that I've ever created, believe it or not. And I know many of you who follow me on a regular basis say, you can't have too much garlic. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna get our hot pots, our pressure cookers, we're gonna get them started on a saute feature. So let me go ahead and turn them on and get saute. There we go. On. Yep. Start. So that's heating up. And we'll get the Milky Pot started. So we go ahead and hit saute. And it's going to go ahead and get started. Because we're not using a very large amount of avocado oil that's been roasted in the garlic, we're going to do a 1/4 cup of each broth that is actually in the recipe. So we're going to go ahead and do that as well. So first off, we want to start off with, what I did is I poured off the extra avocado oil that roasted in the garlic. So this is infused garlic oil, or avocado garlic oil. So we're gonna go ahead and put in a couple of tablespoons so it covers the bottom of the pot. Just a smidgen more. And this garlic oil is going to come in handy in the cauliflower recipe, so just hang tight. It's just going to be so uber yummy. All right, so we're going to be sauteing, and I said we're going to use a little bit of broth. So let me grab some of the bone broth for the milky pot. I'm just going to put a smidgen in so it gets hot, and then that way the things that we're going to be sauteing won't stick. Okay, and we're going to be using some vegetable broth for the cauliflower, mashed cauliflower. And I'll go through which one I prefer when we actually talk about the rest of the recipe. Okay, so that's beautiful. I hope you can see the pots really well. I think we set up the camera pretty well today. Each time we do this, I think we're getting better and better with this camera. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to be adding in, this is 1 shallot, and 3 sprigs of thyme. And we went ahead and took the time. If you haven't seen me do this before, or no one ever taught you in your kitchen, I'm just going to show you a really quick and easy way to get your thyme leaves off of your kind of the stick, right? So you just take it, hold it so that you're going to have the top end in your fingers, and you're going to just gently reverse down over your chives, or whatever it is that you're doing, and this is thyme, and then you have that completely off. Isn't that awesome? Such a great trick. You can do that with most every herb that you have that's fresh. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to go ahead and put that in with, there are about 10 garlic cloves in this that we've already had chopped up. I had a sous chef here in the kitchen, and she's being too shy for me today. She's not coming on the show today, and I promised you all last week, if you were watching, that I'd have a special guest, and I don't think she's going to show her face. She's over there laughing at me right now. All right, so get all that garlic, yummy garlic in there. So you want to get this sauteed so that the shallot kind of cooks evenly, sauteed. It's a little opaque is what you're going to be looking for. And this had a little bit of extra garlic, so I'm going to get this spoon and put in that yummy garlic too. Yeah, so we have some extra garlic that we'll be using the rest of this week, because you know we love to cook. And when we have friends visiting from out of town, and if you didn't see that, I tortured her. I made her come on the death walk. Well, it wasn't really a walk, but it was 2 classes at Pure Bar, and I hit my 100, woo-hoo, 100 in my new community. So I made her do 2 classes with me. I don't know, she's just being really shy, little bugger. Okay, so we're going to add some spices in now while this is sauteing. And what you want to do is, I've listed all the spices, but what we talk about in our spices is we really want to do organic, non-GMO, and you want to look for the labels that show you that it's organic and non-GMO. So GMO, let's talk about that. So this is cumin. We're adding some cumin in. And I know people who don't see me measuring, don't worry, it's okay. Measures are good, but you don't have to have very specific measures. But in the recipe, I actually call for very specific measures. Some people are really kind of new to cooking, and they really need to have that. And there's a lot of steam, so I'm hoping I'm not steaming you up too much over there. So we have some Mediterranean. Ooh, this is already, I'm going to turn off the pots because they're super hot. So we'll just let them continue to saute as they're hot, and we'll add in the rest of these spices. Let me give this a quick stir. Oh yeah, beautiful. There's something about, so you can see in the pots, they almost need a little bit more liquid. So you can add in just a little bit more liquid so that nothing sticks to the bottom. We're going to be adding in a whole bunch more liquid in just a minute after I get these spices all in. Oh yeah, beautiful. Okay, so we're on to the rest of the spices that we're going to infuse in here. The next one is a Japanese 7 spice. This is a wonderful spice, and to put with potatoes or cauliflower, it's just going to make your mashed cauliflower, whichever one you're doing, so yummy. And we have some Italian seasoning. And yesterday when I did the Come Shop With Me, I didn't put in the Mediterranean salt, special salt, but we cooked with it last night, and we just loved what it did. So I was like, ooh, this is going to be really yummy with the recipe today. So I decided just to throw that one in at the last minute when we were creating the recipe. And then finally we have some oregano that we're going to be adding. I know many of you say, I've never made mashed potatoes with that many spices or ingredients, but let me tell you, so good. And the only thing that I'm missing is my black pepper. And I know I took it out. Oh, here it is. Okay. So we have coarse black pepper. Now you're going to want to have some salt and pepper when we're done, and you want to use, actually you'll use some pink Himalayan salt and some black pepper when you're actually serving it. Okay, so that's gone down quite a bit. This is perfect. This one's ready for the liquid, and so is this. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the vegetable broth. What we need here for this particular one is we need about a cup of vegetable broth. We don't really need a whole bunch, but you want to make sure that you have at least a cup. So we're going to go ahead and add in a cup. So, and if you're measuring, you didn't have a measuring cup, you can just say, you want to keep it an inch all the way around, so that when you put your steamer basket in, because you're going to, for the cauliflower, you want to have this on a steamer basket. So that's what we're going to do. That's really just incredible. So flavorful. I wish you could really smell this, because it is incredible. How many of you who watched last week's show actually tried the carrots? Susan got to try them today, and she was like, bomb.com. And I will have to say, they really are good. So if you missed that show last week, you can always catch it on my YouTube channel, which is LifestylebyLauraJ. But you can also scroll through my posts and just see last week's show, because they just turned out so great. So what we've done is we've taken the heads of the cauliflower, organic, we always want to do organic, and we've just kind of got the florets separated, and we're just going to put in, I don't think 2 heads are going to fit in this particular pot, so we want to fill it up as much as we can. So just go ahead and put those in. I don't want them to tumble out. It's quite a full amount here at the top. Pretty soon. A couple falling out. Okay, I think now I can just kind of, So I'm layering this a little bit. I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. So we've got one little layer there. Watch. You're going to add some of this infused garlic oil, drizzle it over the top of these florets. I know some of you might be sharing some heart symbols right now. I would be. So good. This is what's going to really make these taste just like potatoes. So those of you who are really vegetarian, vegans, if you're on the Whole30 system, I have a lot of clients that are vegetarian, vegans, so that's why I started making all of my recipes to kind of cover both traditional and non. So not full 2 heads, so we're going to say that was about a 1.5 amount of, unless you have the bigger InstantPot, you could always do that. So now, since we have that last layer, we're going to drizzle on just a little bit more. You want to reserve some for the final at the end, because the cauliflower, just depending on how they mash up, you're going to want to save a little of that reserve. Okay. Believe it or not, this one's actually ready to go. So let me show you what we're going to do here with these potatoes that are the actual potatoes that are going to go in here. So before I lid this, I'll talk a little bit more about what you're going to do at the end. So I won't put the top on just yet. So in here, we want to go ahead, and I did tell you I would tell you about the vegetable broth. So I love the Pacific brand. It's low sodium, it's organic. It's just a really wonderful, wonderful product for a vegetable broth. I find that anytime I use that, and I'm using it for even a traditional recipe, it just has such dynamic flavor. So I really love the Pacific brand. And the other one that I love is for bone broth. If you're doing a bone broth, which we all know if you're not vegan or vegetarian, bone broth is really good for your gut health. And so we're doing a gut health, love your gut campaign. That's going to be, I'm going to do another live sometime this weekend where we talk about Love Your Gut campaign, where you can buy these amazing products, and I won't go into it yet. We'll do that at another live. But anyway, bone broth, gut health, it's one of those things, really magical equation for our gut. So we're using the Pacific brand. This one is unsalted, it's organic, it's just really great because there's not a lot of additional sodium added in, so I just absolutely love it. So this, we actually even may need to get 2 of them in here. We'll just see once we get these potatoes loaded in how much more we're going to add. All right, so we have 1 for sure, and we may add some more. So we've gone ahead and diced up 3 pounds of potatoes, and we're going to take out the liquid. All right, give that a little shake, and then we're going to add them to the pot. Okay, don't all fall in at the same time. There we go. All right. So, luckily, I have just a smidgen more of this one over here, so we're just going to add just a little bit more in here. And it's ready to go. You kind of want to have the potatoes covered because it's a, it's a pressure cooker. You don't really have to have them all completely covered because it just is not necessary the way that it pressurizes. So, all right, so I'm going to give this a little stir around. Get some of those flavors from the bottom all mixed up into the potatoes, and it's ready to be lidded too. All right, so here's what you're going to do. If you are doing the mashed cauliflower, you're going to actually just cook this for on high, pressure high, 2 minutes. That's it. 2 minutes. Now, some people like to do just a little bit more. I like to have a little firmness still. So you can actually do 3 minutes, but we're going to do 2 minutes in ours. And what you're going to do is you'll do a quick pressure release. So we'll take pictures of all of this as well. So you'll quick pressure release, and what you're going to do is then you'll pick up your pot, and it'll be really hot, so be careful when you do this. But you'll pick up your pot, try to remove all of the broccoli in the steamer basket, right? Put those aside, and you're going to see how much liquid you have in the bottom. So you'll take half of the liquid out, and you'll start there. And then when you're done with getting the liquid out and putting half back in, you're going to add in these following ingredients before you put the cauliflower back in. You're going to add in 2 tablespoons of your soy-free, Earth Balance, non-GMO vegan butter. You're going to add in a few Parmesan flakes, but not a whole bunch. You'll want to add in half a cup of your Kite unsweetened almond milk yogurt, and you'll do 1/3 cup of our, I was glad I had that on tight, of our coconut milk, okay? So again, all of the actual list of the ingredients are there. So keep the extra broth that is left over because you may need to have it, especially if you keep these on warm. And then you're going to get your potato masher, and some people like to whip. You can do either, but because the cauliflower is very fragile, I think just the potato masher is going to work the best. And so you'll just keep mashing it, put it back to saute so you get everything nice and warm. And once you get the right consistency, you'll add in some salt and pepper for taste, and you may drizzle just a little bit more of your garlic infused almond avocado oil. Sorry, I have almond milk in my brain right now. So, all right, so, and that's what you're going to do. And it's so simple. And if you need to, you can always use some of that extra reserve. All right, so now that's the mashed cauliflower. Here's what you're going to do a little bit different with the potatoes. So these are ready. Those are going to be the next things that we're going to be mashing up soon. But as soon as these are done, we're going to put them on pressure cook for 10 minutes. Quick release, again, where everything is a quick release today. And once you are able to lift the pot out, you're going to drain off the potatoes into another container, but save the liquid because you're going to use a half a cup of the liquid to start off with. You'll put the half a cup of liquid back in, and you're going to add in very similar ingredients, but slightly different because it's not the vegan or vegetarian or dairy-free version. So we're going to use a ghee butter. It's a clarified butter. We're going to start off with 2 tablespoons. We're going to use 1/3 of the cup of the coconut milk because I just think this coconut milk just is so wonderful. It adds such a dimension to most every cooking that you're going to be doing. So we'll use 1/3 cup of that, and we'll use a 1/2 cup of the actual Greek organic yogurt. Now, if you want to use sour cream because you're not kind of watching any of your choices, you can actually use sour cream. But we're going to keep it a little lighter today. So, and again, we're going to get the masher out and we're going to mash up those potatoes the same way. And you might have to add a little bit more reserve of the liquid that you've saved and putting it all together. And then you'll add salt and pepper to taste, and it's just going to be wonderful. So the other thing that I didn't talk about, which we love to do, is, you know, a lot of people peel their potatoes. So when my sous chef was over here helping me, she's like, you know, I always leave my skin on. And I said, you know, when I'm doing a Yukon Gold, I always leave the skin on too. But when I did a russet, I hadn't left the skin on. But we decided we're going to leave the skins on. So, and we talked about it, and the reason being is that there's a lot of nutrition packed in those skins. So you want to have all of the nutrition that you possibly can get, right? So that's it. We'll take pictures of everything. Oh, no, that isn't it. There is some Parmesan shreds at the very end when you're getting ready to serve, and you just want to add one more complexity to that flavor that you're serving, is you're going to add in, if you're doing the traditional and you're not concerned about dairy, you're going to add in fresh grated Parmesan, which we have here. This is actually an Asiago. And then for those that are vegan, vegetarian, I actually love Follow Your Heart dairy-free Parmesan shreds. These are really wonderful. But you know, anything that you love that's in your local store is just going to be fine. And remember, anytime you're working with garlic, because we brought that up in the kitchen when we were creating this recipe and talking and preparing things, you always want to use organic garlic. Make sure that you know where. I tend to stay away from garlic that's not local in the North America, but I know I have a lot of people who watch me from Germany, they watch from Spain, I mean, all over, Australia. I mean, I do know that you know where to get your best garlic, but make sure it's garlic that you know how it's been raised and it's organic. That's my tip. Okay, so that's the show, and look forward to the pictures in the comments. We'll be placing those throughout the late afternoon, and then certainly tune back in tomorrow and you'll see all the pictures for sure. Everything will be there. Now, don't forget to say hello, who you are, where you're from. Please hit that beautiful share button and share my love of cooking and sharing these great recipes with everyone. And again, if you've ever wanted to see any of my past shows or my past recipes, you can always go to my YouTube channel. And you just click on Lifestyle, type in Lifestyle by LauraJ, and you'll see all of my videos there. So I'm looking forward to seeing you next Thursday at our new time. I absolutely love this. We've done this show for so long, I keep thinking in my brain that today is Friday, and it isn't, it's still Thursday. So I'm so looking forward to joining you in your kitchen on Thursday evenings from now on, Thursday late afternoon. And always feel free to hit follow first so that you can get notifications whenever I go live and give you great health tips throughout the year and week and months. So thank you all for joining us and showing up, and sending you lots of love. Enjoy this recipe. It is so good. If you missed last week's carrots, I'm telling you, bomb.com, they were so amazing. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your week. I can't say weekend. Have the great rest of your week and enjoy your weekend, your long weekend. So I'll look forward to seeing you next week. All right, see you later.